We are looking at one of your Dynasty teams today.
Come on.
Maybe giving some thoughts about what we might do if it were our team. If you want your Dynasty team to be considered, join our Discord with the link in the description. Okay, and then you can submit your team in screenshots over on the Dynasty Team Grades text channel, and we will consider it. We look through it every week. We try to find teams that we feel like we can really help. So today, I don't have the person's name written down. Let me double check on the name, but we are breaking down a trade or a Dynasty team, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
MightyBuch, I'm pretty sure is the name here. Yes, it's the MightyBuch. My bad. We're breaking down the MightyBuch's team. A little bit of context here, as you can see the team now.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Dynasty Superflex Startup PPR picked third. Am I destined for middle of the pack? He says he picked third, but he's got Josh Allen.
That's what I saw that as well. I was like, either Josh Allen fell or maybe he just traded up.
I'm assuming Josh Allen fell, like
in the first round, maybe potentially.
Why? I mean, I guess I understand, like, because Mahomes is still my quarterback one, but I have Allen ahead of Herbert. Most people, you're definitely going to see Allen at least first or second,
For sure, yeah.
But anyway,
mm-hmm.
I mean, good for him, right?
Yeah, good for him. If that is true, let us know in the comments for sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I have some overall thoughts, and I don't know where you kind of lean here, but I really feel like this team will finish in the middle. And we'll talk about it. We'll go position by position. But when I look at the flex in particular, especially now looking at Antonio Gibson and how like unknown he is, I'm just looking down at my phone where I have the team.
Right.
Like the flex feels really unsure for me. Like we don't even know if we can start Gibson this year. Correct. So you take him out. Ramondre now serves as your running back 2 with Kenneth Walker unknowns with his injury.
Definitely.
We got Devontae Parker. We got Mooney. I mean, who else are we flexing? Are we going to flex Isaiah McKenzie or Mike Davis or?
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Look, this is where I'm at. I think you can try and win it all this year. I don't think you will. Now,
Agreed.
people will comment. Probably someone will put a comment. You can win with this team. I don't think 100%. You will. I just don't think that you will. Specifically because of the flex spots. Do you feel the same way? I'm kind of leaning a 1-year punt here.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. 1-year punt, especially with so many question marks here. Question marks and still people maybe we believe in. Yeah. But a lot of question marks. So maybe it's a lot. Maybe depending in the middle of the season whether you should either truly punt or kind of reset. But
right.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You don't have to force any moves right now. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
All right, let's go position by position. Quarterbacks. Sell them all. No, I mean, look, this is a great quarterback room. You got Josh Allen. You got Dak. This is pretty close to elite. Obviously, Dak isn't technically an elite dynasty quarterback, but this is an incredible room. I don't think you really need to make any moves unless you had any ideas.
No. This is perfect.
Maybe Matt Ryan. Like, would you be willing to sell Matt Ryan?
I thought about it. I'm just not sure what you can actually get. Can you get a third? Yeah. Can you? I don't think anyone's getting a second for Matt Ryan, unless you package him with something. But
let me look at the community real quick and
I have a feeling that like maybe he should just keep him. He should just keep him just in case for bye weeks, whatever the case may be. You're gonna need a guy.
Sure.
To kind of fill in that role. So I'm happy to keep him.
Far down there, isn't he, in the community's eyes? I mean, yeah, makes sense with how old he is, 37 years old. Look, if you can move Matt Ryan, I know this won't be like very. A lot of people won't like this, but if you can move him for Carson Wentz, I think you can do that. I would be willing to do that just purely because of age, and I think Carson's talented. How long do you have with Matt Ryan? You don't have to make this move, okay? But, I mean, I would be willing to look at that. I also would be willing to look at, like, a Malik Willis move as well.
Okay.
But, look, overall, you really don't have to make a single move here at the quarterback position, just so we're on the same page, right?
Yeah. I definitely like to keep him. I mean, if I had to give you an option, the first person I thought of was Jared Goff, and maybe this is recency bias because of Hard Knocks.
I like that.
But you kind of want this team to succeed. And when you watch Hard Knocks, it's like, how can these guys not, like Zach said it earlier, like, how can these guys not quote unquote win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, obviously they won't.
Obviously they won't. But like at the same time you watch it, it's like they could be a middle of the pack team. They might miss out on a quarterback, genuinely, if they are truly the way they are. But that's another guy.
You know the risk with that. Who has the better job security next year? Feels like Matt Ryan.
You would say Matt Ryan? I would say Jared Goff.
Say Matt Ryan.
I would say Jared Goff.
I would say if you look at the next 3 years, like if you're going to go on a run, punt year 1, go on a run the next 2 years, Matt Ryan to me feels like the most safe out of those guys. And to be fair, maybe you should keep him because he is safer than Carson Wentz. But anyway, those are deals I think you can look at.
Some even deals that we didn't think about, we weren't going to bring, but we bought it anyway.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the running back position. I have some opinions, but where do you stand here?
This is tough, because everyone here is a question mark, At least from what we understand right now, we believe Saquon is going to come back and be this guy, but can he? And if he does, is he going to be a long-term answer? For me, Antonio Gibson is a punt as a whole. I would try to get whatever you can from him or wait until the season if he does bring back value. I'm a believer in Ramondre Stevenson. And then Kenneth Walker, obviously, with the hernia, he has surgery. He should be back by week 1, they say.
How, by the way?
I don't know. But if he does miss time, I would probably say it will be, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe a month in total. Miss the whole month of September. And then you will, in reality, who's your starting running back, But look, the first thought process I had is to try and sell Saquon Barkley. If we are the thing is,
I agree.
If we are punting, I don't know what we can get for Saquon. I think there is some value there. I think Saquon is still a first round pick.
Oh, yeah,
but
easily. You can get value.
I guess let me rephrase that. It's like not that there's no value, or it's not that I didn't know there was value. It's like if we're making a lateral move, how far can we truly go with Saquon? Once again, I love Saquon. I believe in him. The fantasy community is really high on him right now. A couple of people that I thought of that maybe you can make a move to get that has. By the way, sorry,
just quickly, he is running back 8 in the Dynasty.
In the community, like,
he is highly.
He's high still. Up there for sure. People that I thought of: Travis Etienne, obviously. You already have Ken Walker. Maybe you can go J.K. Dobbins. These are all maybe lateral moves you can potentially make. Elijah Mitchell, Josh Jacobs, maybe a little bit of a question mark with all these trade rumors. Those are the guys that I'm thinking maybe you can make a lateral move on. And if Saquon does come back and be the Saquon, maybe it's worth keeping, or maybe it's worth trading and getting someone that you can try and win now with. Is it worth, if Saquon in the middle of the season, is it worth maybe trying to get a Joe Mixon? Is it worth trying to squeeze in and try and get a Dalvin? All these guys really are nearly the same age as Saquon. Dalvin's 27. Joe Mixon's 26. Saquon right now is 25. He's going to turn 26, I'm pretty sure, by the end of this year.
Well, 27 and 25 are very, very far off in running.
No, I know what I'm saying, but I think Saquon's turning 25 at the end of this year, or 26 at the end of this year. Right. I'm just saying it's not that big of a lateral move, but if you're trying to win now and just punt this year and be okay, we're going all in 2023, those are the guys that I'm thinking of. The Joe Mixons, the Dalvins out there, the J.K. Dobbins, a guy I believe in, maybe even Alvin Kamara if you wanted to, but I think for Saquon specifically, you have to wait to see how he performs until the middle of the season. If not, then you can probably trade him away. Other than that, it's really hard to sell Gibson right now. I want to keep Ramondre Stevenson and Ken Walker. It's really just a Saquon that in my opinion, that can truly bring value.
Okay. I'm on board with most things. I'm on board with selling Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
But a 1-year punt, do I want a lateral to Josh Jacobs? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Do I want a lateral to some older players? For me, I don't think I want to do that. I think you need to get picks. And Saquon being viewed as RB8, sometimes he's going in the 3rd round of startups. In other communities, he's probably going earlier, right? Beginning of the 3rd. I think you can get a 23 first easily. If you can get an early 23 first, lock that in. Late first, early second, late first, late second. I think these are really possible things that you can accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get 2 24 firsts? These are the things that you should go out there and look to accomplish, because we have seen people like still view Saquon as an elite dynasty running back. I'm on board with JK, but I wouldn't want to do a straight swap. Like, can I get JK and a second?
Yeah.
Because right now I feel like the community really overvalues Saquon because of just like the incredible prospect that he was and what we saw year one. We're all waiting for that to happen again.
Correct.
With his age, I just don't know like how many years we have left to see that Saquon again.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say he does play really, really well. You said he turned 26 at the end of the season. Does his dynasty ranking, like, does he get higher than running back 8 in the community with all these other running backs coming in?
It's true.
I don't think so. Like, I think it's a really good time to sell him, especially if you're doing a 1-year punt. I don't want other players to help me win.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to go get picks, first-round picks for Saquon Barkley. Jed, I have a couple more ideas, but I don't know if
I guess the only rebuttal to say is like it will be hard for me to get picks, especially in 2024 if it's a 1-year punt. It's like now we're waiting 2 years, 23.
So think about the reason I say that is because think about how valuable a 23 first right now is in the trade market.
Right.
You're gonna look next year. You don't have to wait till 2024. You got the pick already, and people are talking about these rookies that they love in 2024. You got that pick. You can move it. You know what I mean? Like,
okay,
224 first next year is worth more right now than what a 23 first and a 23 second is. So, you don't have to make those picks with the 24 picks.
Yeah.
But they will be viewed much higher next year.
I definitely get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying as well.
I
have a couple ideas, but
yeah, the one other thing is, like I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, is I'm a believer in Ramondre Stevenson. I'm a believer in Ken Walker. I think those are the two guys that I believe you should keep. I think these are good guys that are going to bring value to you and your team in the future. The one guy that I know you're probably itching to move, maybe not, is probably Antonio Gibson. According to the community, RB30 now all the way down to RB30.
That is going to keep dropping.
And with the reports, it doesn't look good. What can you get for Antonio Gibson right now? The only thing I can personally think of for you in this Antonio Gibson situation, and maybe it's not the best time. Maybe we have to wait and see. Maybe you have to acquire Brian Robinson. Maybe you have to see what that Brian Robinson owner is willing to give up, or what he wants in return for Brian Robinson. Because I do believe if it's a 23 second, that's too much, And I don't know a scenario where, in reality, I can say, hey, man, I think you should give this. The only person I can think of is TDP, Davis Price. But do I want to do that for Brian Robinson? Like, is Price more talented than Brian Robinson? I think he's a better prospect. I think it's kind of really close, but I don't know if maybe Isaiah McKenzie. There's a lot of hype with Isaiah McKenzie, and he could be this guy. I think the only way you can either feel comfortable in Antonio Gibson in any capacity is if you do get Brian Robinson, but I'm just not sure if that is the right time to acquire him. Maybe you should get him now before we truly see how the season pans out. Like maybe that's an option, and maybe that's a perspective that we're going to have to look at moving forward. Because like if he's worth a 23 first, hypothetically a 23 second, a 23 third now, what is he going to be in the middle of the season when he's a top 20 RB? And hypothetically, I don't know. It's really a tough one, and I'm interested to hear your thought process.
I don't want to buy any Washington running back right now. Don't want to buy any Washington running back. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like 3 people there, all involved, all with a role.
It's a tough one.
I just like with Gibson. I think this you're probably agreeing with what I'm about to say, but you can't sell him right now. You just can't. Nobody wants Antonio Gibson. No one's giving you value. So I might ride the wave and just see like what could happen here. Keep in mind, technically, he's 1 injury away from a top 15 week, like top 15 upside every week. Just saying, like, so.
Like if
and we
JD
also don't know
Brian
if
Robinson
he truly.
gets hurt?
Sorry.
Are you saying if JD and Brian Robinson gets hurt, like 1 injury away?
Just if Brian Robinson gets hurt, because still he finished top 12 his first 2 years, with J.D. McKissic there.
For sure.
So, as far as Gibson goes, I don't think you should sell him because you're not going to get any good value. And it's worth waiting and just seeing because, all the reports are coming out. What's really going to matter is preseason week 2. And I don't know if you guys will have seen that game by now or not, but if Brian Robinson comes out and he's the starter, it's time to plummet Antonio Gibson. So anyway, I don't want to buy a Washington running back is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But let me just say this. I get the Ramondre Stevenson hype, but I am very willing to move Ramondre Stevenson in season if he has a good season. Like if Ramondre finishes top 20 and he's in this sort of category of like a young ascending guy, he's not young. Okay? He's not young, people. He's not a young running back. And he's in a backfield that historically always splits workloads. We're talking about Ty Montgomery, who's about to be leading this team in receptions potentially. Like, it's a report that's come out today. Everyone's saying Ramondre in the James White role. Ramondre. And I just don't get the Ramondre hype, especially in that offense. Like, put him in a different offense maybe with less competition. Okay, let's see. But I am extremely willing to move Ramondre in season if he has a good game and people want to buy him from me.
Yeah.
I'm also willing to move the following players if they perform in season for literally whatever you can get. Literally whatever you can get, okay?
Right.
Mike Davis, Sony Michel, Jamal Williams, Mark Ingram. If you can get anything for them, great. Let's go to the wide receivers here unless you have any other ideas.
Yeah, wide receivers, Evans, DJ, Parker, Mooney. I think it's pretty obvious who to move.
Clean house.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious who to move here. I think the two biggest moves, in my opinion, if you are punting next year and Tom Brady's not here, we keep saying this, if Tom Brady's not here, maybe it's best to move Mike Evans now and get younger, right? Maybe it's time to go that way. Let me just pull up my wide receiver rankings. Didn't have that up. Okay, so Mike Evans right now, according to the community, wide receiver 21. You know, can you get a Terry? Can you maybe get a Deontay, a Rashad Bateman, you know, a Drake London, Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton even. These are so many guys. I mean, if you want, you can do George Pickens as well. I mean, that's a guy that everyone...
And capital, maybe.
Exactly.
With the hype, you might not be able to do that, but a straight swap isn't a bad idea.
With all these guys, there's so many people that you can lateral move to here to get younger with Mike Williams specifically. Hollywood Brown.
I'll throw out a couple of names just so I don't repeat information.
Yeah.
How about Amon-Ra?
Come on, talk it up.
And maybe you can get capital with that, by the way. How about Sky Moore in a pick? One of the Moores, Elijah, Garrett, Hollywood.
Love it.
Jameson. I think Jameson's actually really ideal for this 1-year punt, by the way. Jameson could be a prime target for the 1-year punt.
This is perfect for sure for Jameson. I think that it's pretty obvious that you do that with Mike Evans. And once again, you don't have to move DJ Moore if you're a DJ Moore believer. We're not. We will probably just say the same thing here for DJ Moore, wide receiver 15 according to the community. Can you get Drake London? Can you get a DK? Can you get a Michael Pittman, a Jalen Waddle? I'm happy to give DJ Moore maybe in a second or a third for Waddle, a second maybe for AJ Brown or a Debo, you know, like DJ Moore in a second for Debo if that's possible. I'm willing to move DJ Moore for some of those guys and maybe get a new alpha, you know, get younger with Mike Evans and try to lateral up just a little bit with DJ Moore and try to get a true alpha. Or you could do the vice versa, you know, maybe try to sell Mike Evans and try to get the alpha, right? And then DJ Moore, you can do the lateral kind of with the younger pieces, you know, Jameson, Bateman's, all those guys.
I'm open to a move like that, but again, kind of like what I said with Saquon, I ideally want picks for both of these guys. Like in my ideal world, I get 223 first for both of these players, right? And I don't think that's unrealistic to ask because now Evans is evaluated as a late first. DJ Moore, a first and a second. I mean, we've seen in our community this offseason people giving 2 firsts for DJ Moore. So
yeah, gosh.
Ideally, I want picks, and again, the thought process behind that is because I want to 1-year punt. I want to be a bad team this year. So I get where you're coming from, and I'm totally open to like upgrading. But then I'm a better team potentially, and you know what I mean. So like ideally, I want to get the picks and then make moves next offseason. But I definitely agree with the Mike Evans, like lateral. I'm more open to a lateral with Mike, and I want to capitalize on the value in the trade market with DJ. But these are really good ideas, I think, from both of us for sure. I think like you have a ton of options here with DJ and Mike Evans. Like these guys are wide receivers in the community who are super movable. We've seen it. It happens all the time. We get hundreds of trades in our Discord every month. These guys are involved in a lot of trades.
100%.
By the way, hold Devontae Parker, and this is going to sound weird.
Exactly. That's what I want to say.
But just
as well.
hold him right now, because I think he's the clear wide receiver 1 in that team.
Mm-hmm.
His value could raise midseason.
Agreed.
He's younger than Keenan Allen. You know, I'm not saying he's better than Keenan Allen, but age-wise, he's not like a win-out team could go out and trade for him if he improves value.
Yeah, agreed. I like Devontae Parker. Keep him. Darnell Mooney. I think what you said in one of our trade videos, in which I agree with. I don't know if I can leave the floor to you if you had the same thought process actually. But I like Darnell Mooney. You can keep him, or you can do what Zach is going to say here.
Well, look, I just think my thought behind Darnell Mooney is, and maybe right now might not be ideal unless you get really good value at some point. If it's if it's in season, Mooney's going to get a ton of targets this year.
Agreed.
What does that mean when they bring in another wide receiver? Because it will happen, okay?
Has to.
2023 feels like the prime time with that wide receiver class to bring in a big X wide receiver. Feels like the Bears are going to be primed for a top 10 wide receiver pick next year.
Agreed.
And right now, Mooney is thriving off of targets. What happens when his targets aren't as reliable anymore? I mean, he's just not a true alpha X in the league. He's a very, very good wide receiver. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but I think his value could diminish. Think of, and this is not meant to disrespect anyone, but think of what Hunter Renfro's value did when Devontae Adams came in. Think about how that impacted his dynasty value. So if it's now, great. If it's in the season when he's doing really well, great. But I do think Mooney is a really, really good person to go out and target for a trade, especially in a 1-year punt. Like right now in the community, he's around Hollywood Brown. He's around George Pickens. He's around Sky Moore.
He's up there.
And personally, I would rather have all of those players, including Treylon. Like Treylon is dropping in ADP. So I would like to do that personally, and I think we're on the same page there. Like you had said.
I like Mooney. I'm a believer in him. I agree with Zach. They probably will bring in the top a big body wide receiver. I think he probably will operate as a wide receiver too. When that guy comes in, and he is going to lose some value. So completely agree. Like him, keep him now. Maybe sell him high later. And then move on.
Agreed. Tight ends, I don't think you need to do anything.
Dallas Goedert, David Njoku, keep him. We're solid.
We're good. Like, we're fine. You don't need to do nothing right there.
Agreed.
So, just to summarize, if you can sell Saquon, could you get a first for Mooney? I don't know. Like, try it. Could you get 2 seconds? I would consider. Anyway, you can sell Saquon. You can sell DJ. You can sell Evans. You can maybe sell Ramondre and Stevens in season if he really pops off. You don't have to do that. I know we see that differently. You can sell maybe Devontae Parker in season. I mean, could you be looking at including your first, like 3 or 4 first-round picks next year, and maybe like 2 or 3 second-round picks?
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe some younger players. Then you're in a position next year, or like multiple 24 first, and they're really valuable next year in the offseason. You could be looking at a chance to really cash in on those picks with drafts or trades, and you could set yourself up really well. You got great pillars here. Yeah. With Josh Allen, with Dak Prescott, you got an incredible pillar duo to start with.
Yeah, hold it down, make the right moves.
I don't know where you see like this current team, but to me, maybe they make round 1 of the playoffs, maybe because of their quarterback play, but I don't think they advance to a championship.
No, I don't think they advance to a championship either. I do believe they can sneak in maybe just outside the playoffs, 2 teams outside the playoffs. You're good. If Kenneth Walker does produce and comes back and can produce more than, or is going to produce what we hope and expect, sure. Then you have your RB2 with Mondre on the bench. But one thing I will say, try and invest in some wide receivers. This is 2 wide receivers start, 3 flex. We like to start wide receivers in our flex. Totally. We preferably would like to have 3 wide receivers in the flex, and then obviously 2 wide receivers in the wide receiver position that just have higher upside. Not saying you can't start Ramondre or anyone out there, but just a thought process as you build your team.
Which makes you like more confident to only really prioritize 1 running back next year. Like if you can have like Ken and just 2 other guys you can start, pound those wide receivers. What the hell is that? Like, that's who says that? Anyway, I gave this team a B. Like, I think it's in a decent position, but you know,
I think so as well. Yeah.
I think it needs to. There has to be moves made.
I like it right now. I gave it a B plus. A really strong team. I like it. I like your people. I think that's because I love Stevenson. I love Ken. I like a lot of these guys on this team. So I do believe you can sneak some wins here. But maybe that's not what you really want to do right now. But just keep that in mind.
All right, the MightyBuch. Let us know if we missed out any context. If these ideas are helpful. Now, to be clear. Not every one of these trades are going to happen, are going to be 100% accepted straight away, or maybe they don't happen in your league.
Yeah.
We have the great advantage of hundreds of trades being sent to us every couple weeks on our Discord. So we're taking the community rankings, what we've seen, offering ideas. There are things to try. Not everything is going to work, but you got to start a conversation.
That's right.
Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like if you don't mind on your way out. And comment down below what moves you might make if this was your team.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.